Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Scott, and I'm here today to talk about James May O'Cook, which is a cooking show hosted by James May. That's the best description that anyone can give. The series recently came out on Amazon Prime Video. It's 7 episodes long, and each episode is about 30 to 35 minutes. Give or take, and it's good. That's first opinion out of the way. But let's talk about the show. So first off, each episode starts with James May saying the line that he can't cook, and that this is his cooking show, of which isn't entirely true because he is obviously cooking in the show. It's not like me, which actually can't cook, and I would never try to host a cooking show. But I think the point is that you don't need to be a gourmet TV chef or a restaurant chef enabled to cook the things that he cooks in the show, of which he cooks a bit of everything. Each episode is themed around a certain topic. So, for instance, there's one on Indian food, one on Italian, one on breakfast. British classics is another one, just to name a couple. So, like I said, it's got lots of good jokes in it. But of course, these are James May jokes. Again, they're like dad jokes. If you like dad jokes, you'll like this. And obviously, it's a cooking show, of which it's a cooking show. I can't emphasize that enough. It's James May teaching people who watch the show how to make something, although he's reading from a recipe book and he's cooking it for the first time, supposedly. I'm not sure how true that is, but he says it's his first time making a cake or etc. But it's different from normal cooking shows because it doesn't take itself too seriously, and it kind of takes the mick out of normal cooking shows like those other ones, because it's kind of more real. Cooking shows are always very fake and phony. They're always telling you stuff that you need to do, but then not telling you something else, which is kind of pointless. It's not helpful when you're trying to cook, because it doesn't tell you need certain ingredient or to put it in a certain amount of time. This show does do that, but it doesn't take itself too seriously in the ways that other shows do, where the cook just tells you stuff that makes no sense. It's all gibberish. James May talks to you very openly and just tells you what you need to do and how you do it. And he gets help from his home economist, as they call her, Nikki, who hides in this cupboard at the back of the room. It's very funny. It becomes a joke in itself. In fact, he makes several jokes to do with TV chefs can't cook, and it's the home economist, otherwise known as Nikki, that does all the work off camera, and then the TV chef takes credit for it, which it's a good joke. It keeps going. Other things that make it just very light and easy to watch is the fact the camera doesn't constantly focus on James May or the food. It sometimes looks at the crew and the cameramen behind the screen, of which again makes it feel more real. It's not just some fake show where it just cuts away to some random nonsense, of which does become a joke. They do take the mick by James May suggesting things that they should cut away to, and it acts as a joke, which is good. So again, James May and Nikki, the home economist, are the only two people in this. other than the few shots of the cameramen and the producers and people behind the camera who are just there, which do talk to him during this. And James May talks back. He asks them questions like, am I doing this right? Or what do you think? Or he tells them jokes and they respond back in kind, which is very good. Again, adds to the realism and the thought that it's not just some ordinary cooking show where it's just some person claiming she's made this, or he's made this for the first time, and they haven't really. They're just making shit up. But other than that, it's a very, very interesting show. It's more interesting than I thought it would be. I wasn't going to watch this considering it's a cooking show. I've only very occasionally watched the odd cooking show on TV. But when this popped up, I liked the Our Man in Japan thing with James May, which again, you should watch. That's very good. And also, I like James May from the Grand Tour and Top Gear before that. And I thought this might be quite good. Might be interesting. And it was. It's very interesting. It actually, for a second, made me think that I could cook these things, which I'm not going to attempt to because I can't cook. I'm just not going to cook it. Like I said before, it doesn't ignore certain ingredients and it doesn't ignore timings. It's very good in telling you what you need to do in the recipe, like what temperature and how long does it need to be in the oven, or how much of a certain ingredient that you need to put in the mixture or you need for the entire recipe. It's very good for the most part. Sometimes it did miss out a couple of things which I would have liked to know if I was cooking it, but other than that, the recipes are very easy to follow, much better than other cooking shows that I've seen. But again, I haven't seen that many cooking shows. Again, it's just the odd episode here and there of different TV chefs, of which I can't even name them, to be honest. I don't care about cooking. But this show is very good on how it presents the ingredients and how long it needs to go in the oven or wherever, how long to stir. And again, he gets things wrong. And the home economist, Nikki, comes out and helps him, and he makes jokes and she kind of laughs at them. And it's very good. I especially like the fact that the name, James May O'Cook, is a play on words of something James May always says in everything. It's like his go-to phrase, which is O'Cock, if you didn't know. He often says it when he gets something wrong on the Grand Tour or anything that he does. He'll say O'Cock instead of a swear word or something else. It's kind of his phrase, of which O'Cook's a very clever play on his almost catchphrase. I wouldn't call it a catchphrase, but it's two words that he says quite often. So overall, this is a very, very good cooking show. It's like the perfect length. The episodes don't run too long. It's light. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's funny, interesting. It's a solid show, and it's worth a watch. I've got to say, these shows with James May on Amazon Prime are very good, and I can't wait for any more they do in the future. I'm pretty sure whoever's in charge of James May these days has got a Amazon Prime deal going on, and he just does all these shows, of which, due to COVID, he's probably not going to do another touring show for a little while. And I'm not sure when this cooking show was made, because it must have been made before the lockdown, because obviously all these crew and James May, etc., are all in one room together. That they're all in close proximity. They're not wearing masks, so I assume it was made just before the worldwide lockdown. But I'm really enjoying them, and I can't wait for more. So, if you're listening to this, Amazon, please make more. I hope there's more. That's all I can say. So, anyways, that's been me, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.